Over 70% of Mazda owners drive past a feature every single day that could save their life, their fuel bill, or their sanity, and have absolutely no idea it exists. Dealers never mention them, the manual buries them, and Mazda quietly builds them in anyway. 23 features. Some will shock you, some will embarrass you. And number 1 has been sitting in your car this entire time doing absolutely nothing because nobody told you to turn it on. Let us kick things off. Number 23. The auto-dimming mirror that most owners never activate. Your Mazda almost certainly has an auto-dimming rearview mirror. Most owners know it exists. What most owners do not know is that it only works at full effectiveness when the interior cabin light sensitivity is calibrated correctly. If you have tinted rear windows, the sensor reads ambient light incorrectly and dims less aggressively than it should. The fix takes 30 seconds. Hold the 2 buttons on the mirror base simultaneously for 5 seconds until the indicator flashes twice. That single reset recalibrates the sensor for your specific window tint level. A Mazda CX-5 owner named David from Arizona drove for 3 years thinking his auto-dimming mirror was broken. One 30-second reset later, the blinding headlights that had caused his highway anxiety disappeared completely. But the auto-dimming mirror is just the beginning. The next feature sits inside a menu that most Mazda owners have scrolled past dozens of times without realizing what was hiding directly behind it. Number 22. The hidden fuel economy. Display that changes how you drive. Every Mazda with a commander dial has a real-time fuel consumption display buried inside the vehicle information menu. Most owners use the basic average screen. What they miss is the instantaneous consumption graph. This is not a number, it is a live bar graph showing fuel consumption changing in real time as you accelerate, coast, and brake. Studies on driver feedback technology consistently show fuel economy improvements of 8 to 12% simply from making consumption visible. A teacher named Sandra from Ohio discovered this feature after 18 months of ownership and watched her fuel economy climb from 31 to 36 miles per gallon within 4 weeks. She changed nothing else about her driving route or schedule. $300 saved annually, 0 cost to activate. If you are not subscribed yet, do it right now, because every feature from here gets more valuable, more surprising, and more expensive to have missed. Hit that subscribe button and let us keep going. The next feature involves your safety in a way that should make you stop and check your settings tonight before you drive anywhere after dark. Number 21. The lane departure. Warning: sensitivity setting. Nobody adjusts. Mazda's lane departure. Warning comes factory set to its most conservative sensitivity level. In rain, at night, on older roads with faded markings, the default sensitivity either fires constantly and gets ignored, or fails to fire when it genuinely should. Inside your driver assistance settings, there is a sensitivity adjustment with 3 levels. Raising sensitivity on rural routes and lowering it on tight urban streets dramatically improves how useful this system actually is in your real daily driving environment. The NHTSA reports that lane departure accidents cause approximately 17,000 fatalities annually in the United States. A sensitivity adjustment taking 45 seconds could be the difference between a near miss and a collision. Check your setting tonight. What comes next is a feature that most Mazda owners discover accidentally in a parking lot. Once you know it exists, you will use it every single time you park. Number 20. The parking sensor. Mute function that saves your sanity. Mazda's parking sensors are excellent at detecting obstacles. They are also excellent at detecting shopping carts, low curbs, and perfectly safe distances you have already accounted for. The constant beeping leads most owners to simply ignore the alerts entirely. What almost nobody knows is that holding the parking sensor button for 3 seconds activates a temporary mute mode that silences the audio alert while keeping the visual proximity display active on the center screen. A contractor named Marcus from Texas discovered this after 2 years of turning his radio volume up to compete with his own parking sensors. He described the discovery as genuinely life-changing. The visual display provides all the information you need without the noise. But if you think the parking feature saves you stress, the next one saves you from a repair bill starting at $800, and it involves something you are probably breaking right now without knowing it. Number 19. The automatic headlight. Leveling system. Most owners brake without knowing. Every modern Mazda with automatic headlights has a leveling system that adjusts beam angle based on vehicle load. When you have rear passengers or cargo, the system automatically tilts the headlights down to prevent blinding oncoming drivers. Aftermarket roof racks, cargo carriers, and trailer hitches throw off the load sensors that calibrate this system. When the system misreads load distribution, your headlights point upward. Oncoming drivers get blinded. Your near-field road illumination drops significantly. An engineer named Robert from Seattle added a roof cargo carrier and spent 6 months wondering why oncoming drivers kept flashing their lights at him before his specialist identified the misaligned headlights. The recalibration costs almost nothing and takes 15 minutes. If you have added any aftermarket accessories, book that check immediately. Next is the feature that Mazda owners argue about constantly in online forums. And the reason most people find it unimpressive is because they have been testing it completely wrong. Number 18. The Sport Mode. Shift logic that transforms how the engine feels. Every Mazda with an automatic transmission has Sport Mode. Most owners find the difference subtle enough to question whether it does anything. It does, but not the way most people expect. Sport Mode does not primarily change which gear is selected. It changes the rev range at which gear changes occur, and the throttle response mapping that determines how aggressively the car responds to partial pedal inputs. On mountain roads, Sport Mode also activates paddle shift retention, meaning the transmission holds the gear you select instead of automatically upshifting near the rev limiter. A photographer named James from Colorado uses Sport Mode exclusively on mountain passes and describes the difference as going from driving the car to genuinely communicating with it. If you have only tried Sport Mode briefly on a flat highway, try it on a winding road for 20 minutes. You may find a completely different vehicle hiding underneath the commuter mode you have been driving for years. The next feature is something Mazda engineers are genuinely proud of, but almost never appears in any review, and it protects something most car owners spend thousands replacing far too early. Number 17. The Engine Auto. Stop calibration that protects your starter. Mazda's iStop system is more sophisticated than any comparable system from Toyota, Honda, or Volkswagen. What almost nobody knows is that the restart feel is adjustable and that the system protects your starter in a way no competitor matches. iStop uses a combustion restart rather than a starter motor restart when conditions allow, leaving one cylinder with a compressed air-fuel mixture so the engine fires immediately without the starter engaging. This reduces starter motor activations by approximately 60% compared to conventional start-stop systems. When iStop feels abrupt, it has usually switched to conventional starter restarts due to battery condition or temperature. A simple battery load test restores smooth operation. Disabling iStop entirely costs you the starter protection it was engineered to provide. Understanding it costs nothing. Now here is a feature Mazda spent millions developing that has one of the lowest owner awareness rates of any active safety system in the segment, and what it does to your cornering confidence will genuinely surprise you. Number 16. The G-Vectoring Control Plus system that makes every corner safer. Mazda's G-Vectoring Control Plus is arguably the most sophisticated chassis management technology offered on any non-premium vehicle under $30,000. It makes tiny, imperceptible torque adjustments during cornering that shift weight between axles to improve tire contact patch loading at precisely the moment maximum grip is needed. There is no display, no notification, no toggle. What drivers report is an almost eerie sense of stability through corners that exceeds what the tire size and suspension setup would logically suggest. A driving instructor named Patricia from Michigan runs new students through a comparison exercise on a wet course with GVC Plus enabled and temporarily disabled. The lap time difference averages 1.8 seconds. The accident avoidance difference is significantly larger. GVC Plus cannot be turned off during normal driving, but understanding what it does allows you to trust the car more confidently at the limits of road driving. What the next feature reveals will make you genuinely angry that nobody mentioned it at delivery, because it has been protecting your vehicle from a specific type of damage since the day you drove it off the lot. Number 15. The Paint Protection Mode. Hidden in the door? Settings. Every Mazda from 2019 onward has a door opening speed sensor that activates a soft close resistance function in the final inch of door travel. Most owners experience this as the door feeling slightly heavy to open fully and assume it is a build quality characteristic. It is an active system, and it is preventing your door from swinging open and making contact with adjacent vehicles in tight parking situations. Body shop owners report that door-to-door contact in parking lots is responsible for approximately 40% of minor paint and body repair work. A property manager named Linda from Chicago calculated that her Mazda had prevented an estimated 6 door contact incidents in 3 years of urban parking based on the resistance she had previously ignored. The system requires no activation. It is working right now every time you open your door. But the next feature requires activation, and the number of owners who have never turned it on is genuinely staggering. Number 14. The Rear Cross Traffic Alert. Blind Spot. Expansion. Mazda's Rear Cross Traffic Alert has 2 operating modes that most owners have never switched between: Standard mode alerts you to vehicles approaching from the side when reversing. Extended mode expands the detection angle and also alerts you to pedestrians and cyclists approaching at angles the standard mode geometry misses entirely. The switch is inside the driver assistance menu under rear cross traffic alert setting. 3 button presses. Most owners have never entered that sub-menu in the entire life of their vehicle. A pediatrician named Dr. Chen from Boston switched to extended mode after a close call with a cyclist approaching from a sharp angle in a hospital parking structure. The extended detection caught 2 subsequent incidents she is certain standard mode would have missed completely. Check your current mode today. If you have never changed it, you have a significant blind spot that extended mode eliminates immediately. Most Mazda owners have never heard their own audio system perform at its actual capability. And what the next feature unlocks is going to make some of you cancel your aftermarket audio upgrade plans entirely. Number 13. The Bose audio tuning mode that unlocks your sound system. Every Mazda with Bose audio has a cabin acoustic compensation mode that most owners have never activated. This is separate from standard bass and treble adjustments. The compensation mode analyzes your specific cabin configuration, passenger positions, and ambient road noise at your current speed, then adjusts the frequency response of every speaker in real time. Access this through audio settings under Advanced Sound Settings. Select vehicle speed, compensation at its highest level, then enable Centerpoint 2 if your system supports it. A musician named Anthony from Nashville described the before and after as genuinely shocking. He had been considering aftermarket upgrades costing over $2,000. After activating the compensation mode, he canceled the upgrade entirely. Your Bose system is significantly better than you think. You have just never heard it perform correctly. But what comes next costs Mazda owners real money every single month they do not know about it. Money that shows up directly on their fuel receipts every time they fill up. Number 12. The tire pressure optimization setting that kills your fuel economy. Every Mazda has a TPMS warning that activates when pressure drops 25% below recommended inflation. 25% below recommended pressure is the federal legal minimum for the warning light to activate. It is not a safe driving pressure. It is a nearly flat tire by any functional definition. Department of Energy data confirms that tires at 25% below recommended pressure increase rolling resistance by approximately 10% and reduce fuel economy by 4 to 5%. On a Mazda 3 driven 15,000 miles per year, that is approximately $250 in wasted fuel annually before the warning light ever illuminates. A delivery driver named Marcus from Philadelphia tracked his fuel economy obsessively and noticed a consistent 4 mile per gallon improvement every time he manually checked and corrected his tire pressure at the start of each month. $250 per year. 30 days between checks. A tire gauge costs $4. Quick pause right here. If this video is saving you money and opening your eyes to what your Mazda has been hiding, drop a comment below right now. It takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps the channel. Now back to it. The next feature is one that most Mazda owners have never prepared for. And number 11 is the one that could matter most in the exact moment you least expect it. Number 11. The emergency signal activation that most drivers discover too late. Every Mazda from 2017 onward has an emergency brake signal that activates automatically when ABS engages during hard braking. The hazard lights flash at a significantly faster rate than normal hazard operation, warning following drivers of your emergency braking event before they have time to react to brake lights alone. The system also integrates with pre-collision brake assist to begin the visual warning during the pre-collision deceleration phase, giving following drivers additional reaction time beyond what brake lights provide. A driving safety researcher named Dr. Williams from Michigan documented a 31% reduction in rear-end collision severity in vehicles equipped with emergency brake signal systems. You cannot activate this feature on purpose, but knowing it exists changes how confidently you respond to emergency situations because you know the car is already communicating with traffic behind you before you have fully processed what is happening. But that is reactive, the next one is proactive. And most Mazda owners have it set to a level that is protecting them at about 30% of its actual capability. Number 10. The pre-collision warning distance setting. Most owners have wrong. Mazda's smart brake support comes factory set to medium warning distance, calibrated for average Japanese highway speeds. In the United States, where highway speeds average 8 to 12 miles per hour higher, that medium setting is functionally closer to a short warning distance. At 70 miles per hour, medium warning distance gives approximately 1.2 seconds of visual and audio warning before automatic braking initiates. Long warning distance gives approximately 2.1 seconds. The difference is 44 feet of additional stopping distance awareness. On a highway, 44 feet is the difference between a near miss and a collision. An insurance analyst named Kevin from Atlanta switched to long warning distance after reviewing accident data and received 6 warnings during highway driving he describes as arriving exactly in time to be useful rather than slightly too late. Change your setting to long for all highway driving. Do it today. If a single settings change can potentially save your life, the next feature can save you from something almost as painful. Because what number 9 does to your monthly costs will leave you wondering why nobody mentioned it at the dealership. Number 9, the smartphone. Integration override that eliminates subscription costs. Mazda Connect has a native navigation system that most owners eventually stop using when the map update subscription feels unnecessary. What almost nobody knows is that Mazda's CarPlay integration has a display mode specifically optimized for the Mazda screen dimensions that transforms the experience entirely. Access this through Mazda Connect settings, select projection display mode, and change from standard to optimized. Larger tap targets, different map orientation default, and automatic night mode synchronization activate immediately. A graphic designer named Sarah from Portland described the difference as the navigation finally feeling like it belonged in the car rather than being borrowed from a phone and poorly fitted to a larger screen. Free navigation, better display, one setting change. The next feature protects something that every car owner dreads losing, and most Mazda owners have no idea their car has been quietly guarding it the entire time. Number 8, the battery drain protection system. Running in the background. Every Mazda from 2018 onward has an active battery protection mode that monitors electrical load when parked and progressively reduces power to non-essential systems to protect battery health during extended parking periods. The system monitors battery voltage every 4 minutes when parked. When voltage drops toward the minimum reliable starting threshold, it cuts power to interior lighting, the ambient display, and Mazda Connect standby mode in a specific sequence designed to preserve maximum starting charge. A nurse named Jennifer from Houston returned from a 12-day work assignment to find her Mazda CX-30 started perfectly while her colleague's vehicle with an aftermarket dash camera needed a jumpstart. The difference was the protection system doing exactly what it was designed to do: remove aftermarket accessories from powered ports before extended parking. Let the system work. Now here is a feature almost exclusively discovered by Mazda enthusiasts in online forums, yet available on every single model in the lineup and completely free to activate right now. Number 7, the steering weight adjustment. Hidden in vehicle settings, Mazda's electric power steering has 3 weight settings buried 3 levels deep in the vehicle settings menu. Light setting reduces steering effort by 30% for urban maneuvering. Sport setting increases weight by 40% and improves highway feedback significantly. The difference between light and sport is not subtle. It is the difference between a steering system feeling suitable for a family crossover and one feeling appropriate for a sports sedan. A driving enthusiast named Michael from Portland drives his Mazda 6 in Sport, steering for every journey above city speed limits, and describes switching back to standard as driving through water. The setting persists until manually changed, unlike other settings that reset with ignition cycles. 3 menu levels deep, 1 setting change, a completely different car. But the next feature changes something even more fundamental about long-term ownership satisfaction. Number 6, the ambient lighting personalization. That dealerships never demonstrate Mazda's interior ambient lighting on equipped models has 17 color options that almost no owner has explored beyond the default warm white factory setting. More importantly, the system has a breathing mode that slowly cycles intensity and synchronization with the audio system's bass frequency output. This is not a party trick. Audio psychologists describe synchronized visual components as genuinely enhancing perceived audio quality by adding a visual element the brain interprets as part of the acoustic experience. A sound designer named Elena from Los Angeles uses deep blue ambient with breathing mode enabled during long drives and describes the combined environment as the most genuinely relaxing driving atmosphere she has experienced in any vehicle under $50,000. Explore your ambient settings tonight. The car you have been driving for years may offer an experience you have never actually had. But number 5 is about a moment every driver has experienced at the worst possible time, and Mazda built a solution almost nobody has activated. Number 5, the auto hold brake. Function that eliminates hill, start anxiety. Mazda's auto hold keeps the brakes applied after a complete stop, allowing you to remove your foot from the brake pedal without the vehicle rolling forward or backward. When you accelerate, the brakes release automatically as torque reaches the wheels. On hills, this eliminates the brief rollback moment that both manual and automatic transmission drivers experience when transitioning from brake to accelerator. A new driver named Emma from San Francisco described auto hold as the feature that made city driving feel manageable for the first time because the anxiety of hill starts in traffic disappeared entirely. Press the button marked with a P and a curved arrow on your center console. It stays active every drive until you press it again or turn off the vehicle. Check your console right now. That button has been waiting for you. But number 4 goes beyond convenience into territory that could save you from one of the most expensive surprises in modern car ownership. Number 4, the Predictive iActive AWD Torque Split display. Every Mazda with iActive AWD has a real-time torque split display showing exactly how much power is being sent to each individual wheel at any given moment. Most owners have never opened this display. The iActive system monitors 27 sensors at 200 times per second and begins sending torque to the rear wheels before slip is detected, based on predictive calculations from steering angle, throttle position, brake pressure, and temperature data. The display shows this happening in real time. An outdoor photographer named Tom from Minnesota drove Mazda AWD for 4 years through harsh winters before discovering the torque split display. He described watching the system working as the moment he stopped worrying about winter driving entirely. Find this display in your vehicle information screens and watch it on your next drive in the rain. What number 3 reveals is something that Mazda owners in other vehicles pay a monthly subscription to access. In your Mazda, it is completely free and nobody mentioned it at delivery. Number 3. The Connected Services Trial that most owners let expire. Unused. Every new Mazda comes with a Connected Services Trial including remote start via smartphone, vehicle health reports, stolen vehicle tracking, and automatic collision notification. The trial is typically 3 years. Most owners activate it once and forget the health report feature entirely, which is the most financially valuable component of the entire package. Monthly vehicle health reports flag developing issues that have generated pending fault codes but not yet triggered a warning light. A pending catalytic converter efficiency code costs approximately $40 to address at the injector cleaning level. The same code ignored until it triggers a warning light and progresses to actual converter failure costs between $800 and $2,000. An accountant named Richard from Chicago received a health report flagging a pending coolant temperature sensor code. The sensor replacement cost $62. His service advisor told him an ignored temperature sensor code had contributed to 3 customer overheating events that year, all requiring engine work exceeding $3,000. Check whether your Connected Services Trial is active today. Number 2 is so simple that the moment you hear it, you will use it immediately and spend the rest of the week telling every Mazda owner you know. Number 2. The traffic sign recognition. Memory function. Mazda's traffic sign recognition reads speed limit signs and displays them on the instrument cluster. What almost no owner knows is that the system has a memory function that retains the last confirmed speed limit when you enter a tunnel, bridge, or stretch of road where signage is temporarily unavailable. Without memory mode, the system blanks the display whenever it loses visual sign confirmation. With memory mode enabled, it holds the last confirmed limit until a new sign is confirmed. On highways with long sign spacing, this eliminates the constant blanking that makes many owners stop trusting the system entirely. Enable traffic sign recognition. Memory in your driver assistance settings. The display becomes a continuous speed limit reference rather than an intermittently blank frustration. This brings us to the feature that should have been the very first thing your Mazda dealer demonstrated, but they did not. And every mile you have driven since delivery without it has been slightly less safe than it needed to be. Number 1. The Mazda Radar Cruise Control. Following distance setting. You have never changed. Mazda's Radar Cruise Control maintains your set speed and automatically adjusts following distance from the vehicle ahead. Every owner who has it uses it. Every owner who has it is almost certainly using the wrong following distance setting. The factory default is following distance level 2 on a scale of 1 to 4. Level 2 was calibrated for Japanese urban highway conditions at 55 to 60 miles per hour. American highway driving at 65 to 75 miles per hour requires a following distance level 2 does not provide. At 70 miles per hour, the difference between level 2 and level 3 is approximately 70 feet of additional space. 70 feet at highway speeds is approximately 0.7 seconds of additional reaction time. The average human reaction time to an unexpected braking event is 0.7 to 1.0 seconds. At level 2 on American highways, your radar cruise control is operating with essentially zero human reaction time buffer before automatic braking must intervene. A safety engineer named Daniel from Michigan changed his following distance to level 3 after calculating the physics and described it as the moment he realized he had been trusting a system working correctly but calibrated for conditions that never matched his daily reality. Change your following distance to level 3 for all highway use. Level 4 for heavy traffic, rain, or night driving. 2 button presses. Every highway mile you drive from this moment forward will be protected by the following distance margin that was always available and never selected. Hey, thanks for watching. If these features changed how you see your Mazda and what it has been capable of this entire time, let us know in the comments below. Want to see 23 hidden Toyota features that dealerships never demonstrate? Click on the left. And if you do not want to miss more hidden car features that manufacturers build in and never tell you about, hit that subscribe button right now.